I'm interviewing Mr. Joe Ward. The interview is taking place in the state of Texas, city of Houston. The address is Eagle Trace, what is it, retirement or senior citizens?
Yeah.
On Highway 6 in Houston, Texas. For your willingness to do the interview, but most of all, thank you for your service to your country. Okay?
Well, I've given all the blood I'm going to give.
Well, that's we're not asking for blood. This is your story. Okay. Let me get to my notes. And don't let this bother you. I will refer to it because I just made kind of a list of things I want to make sure we cover. And if I don't do that, I'll sure in heck forget something I wanted to ask you. Okay?
That's right.
And we don't have to stick with this. I mean, we can go off and whatever you want to tell me. But I do want to start, when were you born?
November the 10th, 1924.
Okay, so you were pretty young when you went in.
18.
All right. Where were you born?
Hermosa Beach, California.
Okay. And your parents, what were their names?
Pat Ward and Rod Ward.
Okay, and did you have siblings?
Which we'll hear about in a little bit. Yes, I had a brother.
Okay. And did he serve?
He died at age 5.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah. Okay. And what did you want to tell me about him?
Well, after I'd been in the service for 3 months, I got a telegram from my mother to advise me that Victor, my half-brother, had died of pneumonia.
Wow.
So that left me as the sole surviving heir.
Right. But that was almost qualified you get out of service, wasn't it? At that time? No?
No.
They didn't do that?
Wouldn't even let me go home.
Yeah. Right. Okay. How'd that affect you in your service?
No way.
Okay. All right. Now let me ask you a couple of questions. Where were you and what were you doing when the war broke out?
I was going to Lamar High School here in Houston, Texas.
Okay, you got from California to Houston, so...
Well, I got from California to Lafayette, Louisiana, over to Houston.
Okay. All right. So you've been here a long time?
Since 1937.
Okay. And this is your home?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. What are your memories of Pearl Harbor Day?
I was in the kitchen drying plates. My mother's washing and I was drying.
Okay.
And we had the radio on. And that's when we heard President Roosevelt announce about Pearl Harbor.
1941.
That was the first time?
Yeah.
That was it?
A date which will live in infamy. The United States of America was suddenly and deliberately attacked by naval and air forces of the Empire of Japan. The United States was at peace with that nation, and at the solicitation of Japan, was still in conversation with its government and its emperor, looking toward the maintenance of peace in the Pacific. Indeed, 1 hour after Japanese air squadrons had commenced bombing in the American island of Oahu, the Japanese ambassador to the United States and his colleagues delivered to our Secretary of State a formal reply to a recent American message. And while this reply stated that it seemed useless to continue the existing diplomatic negotiations, it contained no threat or hint of war or of armed attack. It will be reported that the distance of Hawaii from Japan makes it obvious that the attack was deliberately planned many days or even weeks ago. During the intervening time, the Japanese government has deliberately sought to deceive the United States by false statements and expressions of hope for continued peace. The attack yesterday on the Hawaiian Islands has caused severe damage to American naval and military forces. I regret to tell you that very many American lives have been lost.
Now, were you inducted or did you enlist?
Drafted.
Okay. And when was that?
About November the 10th, November the 10th.
Of 41? 42?
42.
42. You're through high school.
Not yet.
Oh, really?
No.
You got drafted before you were through high school?
I got a note from the President of the United States
Inviting you to come?
invite me. Yeah.
Okay. And where did you enter?
Well, I got this notice, so I went down to the draft board. Told my parents were being transferred up to Evansville, Indiana. He was the oil business.
Okay.
And I told them my problem there, and they said, "Well, fine. We'll mark your record here. When you get to Evansville, go up to the draft board and tell them you're here." And that's what I did.
Okay. And where'd you take your basic?
Camp Croft, South Carolina.
Camp Croft, North Carolina. Where is it?
South Carolina.
South Carolina. Okay. That down around Greenville?
The hell, I don't know. I never got into town.
Well, what'd you do?
I stayed on camp.
You stayed on the base all the time?
Uh-huh.
Okay. How come?
Well, number one, I didn't have much money.
Right. And number two?
Well, we had a theater out there.
Okay.
We had a PX. We had actually we had a big PX, and then we had a little small neighborhood PX.
All right. All right. Now, during basic, did you have any specialties?
We were learning how to operate a 81 millimeter mortar and how to operate an air-cooled machine gun.
All right.
Heavy weapons platoon.
That's what you specialized in?
Yeah.
All right. How was your shooting skill? Did you qualify marksman, expert, what?
Just marksman.
Marksman. Okay.
The reason is they kept up on the line. They kept leaving the same rifle there. I never got to shoot my rifle. I got to shoot the rifle they furnished
All right.
on the line.
Okay.
So you didn't know where the bullets were going to go.
All right. What are your other memories of basic training?
Well, number one, our days were organized on a chart.
Right.
What we were going to do from 6 o'clock till 5:30 in the afternoon. That was all organized. Ding, 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 ding.
Right. Did that bother you?
No, I like things that are organized,
All right.
and this was organized.
All right. Now,
Go ahead.
okay. How about the food and all the accommodations and all that stuff? Was it decent?
It was decent.
Okay.
We had our own kitchen and our own mess hall.
All right. Now, did you make connection with guys that you stayed with through the rest of the war, or did you pretty much break up after that?
Well, when at the end, when we graduated for 16 weeks of basic training.
Right.
Well, all of a sudden somebody found out that my glasses that I had in my gas mask, I didn't have them. They were supposed to give me some prescription glasses that click that fit into the mask of the gas mask. They found out I didn't have it. So the rest of the group went on, whoop, and I stayed here and waited till my glasses were issued and installed.
Okay. Were you wearing glasses at the time? I mean, you were.
I wore glasses since I was 12 years old.
Okay. All right. So you needed your glasses to be able to see.
At 12, I had a doctor tell my mother that I was going blind. So we went to see another doctor.
And obviously you didn't.
But
Your eyesight was not good.
Not good.
Right. Okay. But it's correctable with the glasses.
No.
Mostly.
Mostly.
Right. Okay. Okay. Now, following basic, any other training?
Went down to Camp Van Dorn, Mississippi.
Okay.
And there we learned how to go through swamps.
Okay. How did that help you?
Well,
did it help you in Normandy?
They had wonderful mosquitoes down there.
Right.
Big ones. Ones that would pick you up and deliver you.
Yeah, I just drove through there the other day. So go ahead.
But we had on Friday evening, we'd have about 5 buses come up there and pick us up and take us either in New Orleans or into Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
Okay. All right, but what were you being trained for there? Not you were being facetious about the swamps, right?
No, I was going through the swamps.
Is that what it was?
Yes.
This training to go through swamps, huh?
Yeah.
All right.
Advanced infantry is what considered.
Okay. But you were learning some skills that served you well when you were finally went into battle, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. How long did that last?
About 3 months.
All right. And that took you what, to 1943?
Yeah.
All right. And what'd you do then?
Well, then they put us in a bus, took us down to the train, put us up to camp, up to what's the place up by New York?
New Jersey? I don't know. I don't know. There's another army camp up there?
Yeah, another army
Okay,
camp.
and what were you doing there?
Just spinning our wheels because they were getting ready to put us on a boat
For Europe?
for Europe.
Okay.
That-
And when did that happen?
You're asking me for dates.
No. Don't just if don't worry about it if you can't come up with a date. Just approximately, was it? It's still in 1943 or
Yeah.
44? Okay.
So it was 43 when I landed in Europe.
Okay. 43 when you landed in Europe. Where'd you deploy from? There in Jersey area, New York area.
New Jersey.
And where'd you land in?
Well, fine deal. It was a French troop ship, is what it was.
Okay.
And when we got close to land, well, everybody got excited. We got on one side of the boat. First thing you know, we got the boat was leaning, and the captain was on the loudspeaker said, "Level the boat."
Wow.
And we were last in Glasgow, Scotland.
Okay.
And
then there was more training, right?
no training. So what happened? About 9 of us were drafted to look at the officers' baggage and make sure their names on the outside rather than folded up inside.
Why were you doing that?
Well, that's the job we were given.
Okay.
And one officer had He had a fly fishing outfit. Another guy had a set of golf clubs. They're ready to go to war.
Right. All right. Now, were you stationed there in Glasgow?
Two nights.
2 nights. Okay. Then where did you end up?
They gave us passes. We got on the civilian train and set us down towards London.
Okay.
And the people inside that little compartment, every time we stopped at a town, they bought me tea. They did their best to be hostess.
So the English treated you pretty good.
These are a bunch of Scots.
I'm sorry?
These are a bunch of Scots.
Okay. And they treated you good?
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Okay, and when you got to London?
Well, before I got to London, there was a depot that you had to go to. So while I was there, this sergeant showed up with a wagon, and we had laid all our stuff out on the grass, and he went through and picked up what he wanted. Actually, we were hauling supplies over to England.
Okay.
And he pulled up what he needed. And the only thing that made me mad is I had a pair of dress shoes in there. And he said, "Well, you can't keep these." So, whoop, there went the dress shoes. I figured he was selling it to civilians.
Okay, now you guys were driving trucks or something?
No, we came down there, got out off the train, got into a truck, went out to this camp.
Okay. And it was around London somewhere?
Yep, it was north of London.
Okay. Now, did you do any training there?
No.
You weren't training for the invasion?
Nope.
Did you know that you were going to be a part of the invasion?
They didn't tell us nothing.
Okay. All right.
It was go here, go there, go here.
All right, now, when were you assigned to the 1st Division, 18th Infantry?
Okay.
Approximately.
They put us in a truck and started us for London. We got to London. They let all the canvas sidings down. Apparently they didn't want anybody to see soldiers going through London and going down to South England.
And that's where you were training?
And that's where I ended up with the 1st Infantry Division, 6 days before D-Day.
Okay, so you were right. You were just barely there. Did you have any idea that you were going to be a part of the invasion?
No.
Now, had you trained getting off a ship onto a landing craft, any of that stuff?
No.
Were you? I'm totally shocked. I thought there was a period when they took people around and trained them. I thought there was a lot of training.
Well, the 1st Infantry Division, they had the training.
Okay.
And they had training in landing craft and all that. But we were fill-ins.
Okay.
Fill in the spot here or there. So we didn't get any training, no.
All right.
But we had people that knew how to do it.
All right. So you just followed them?
We just followed them.
Okay. No.
That was 6 days before D-Day.
Okay, so the last 2 or 3 days before D-Day, there was at least one stand down, right? Everybody got ready to go?
Well, we were confined to the camp right then.
And then they shut it down. It was supposed to be on the 5th, and they shut it down to the 6th, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then they put us in trucks and took us down to the ship.
Okay. When did you actually get on the ship? Was it the night of, before D-Day, or was it the day before, or what?
About 2 days before.
So you were actually on the ship, sitting there waiting to go?
Yeah.
Did you know you were going across? Did you know what you were going to do?
We had an idea we were going to be a landing. Yes.
Okay. Were you prepared anyway?
Huh?
And what was about to happen?
We had armed guns, but we had no ammunition.
When did they issue that?
After we complained, said, when do we get ammunition for these things? Finally, they brought the ammunition containers up where we were and broke into it.
Okay.
and they passed out the ammunition. It was fine, except they were given .03 ammunition to people that had Garand rifles.
Is that what you had?
I had a pistol.
But you didn't have a rifle?
I had a carbine.
Okay. What is it, the M2 or?
Well, it's a little old carbine.
Right.
Has a clip underneath it.
Okay, you know the name of the ship? Remember that you know?
I don't think I ever saw the name.
The night before D-Day, did you get any sleep at all?
It was nervous, but we slept, sure.
But you knew you were going ashore on the next morning by that time?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, when you came up on that deck the next morning, what did you see?
Well, they had a rope ladder down the side, and off of the side they had these landing craft.
Okay.
Bouncing around the waves.
Now, were you able to get a view of what was going on around you and other ships? And because they said that was a magnificent armada of ships. Did you see any? You were able to see anything?
We saw a lot of the ships, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you were, I think you told me on the phone, you were third wave.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And so you're up on the ship, and did you have any trouble getting into the landing craft?
Climbing down that damn ladder, yes, we did have.
Okay.
Because number one, that little landing craft was doing this. And here you're coming down that rope ladder, and you're trying to get into a boat that's doing this on you.
Okay. How many guys were in that boat with you now?
Must have been about 35.
Anybody get sick?
Yes.
You?
No.
No? Okay. All right. What was the ride in like?
Bouncy and people talking.
Nervous?
Nervous.
Scared?
Probably.
Yeah. All right. When did you start taking fire?
We were probably 100 yards from the shore.
And you could feel the bullets hitting the boat, or what?
Yeah. And you see bullets ricocheting off the water.
Okay, so what happened when the ramp went down?
Well, everything's fine except this guy. He started hitting. We started hitting high spots in the ground, the foundation, and he decided, well, this must be it. So he dropped the bow, and there were 11 people in my group. We went off the bow into 8 feet of water.
So you went to did you go to the bottom?
Yes, I was about ammunition here, ammunition on my back, and so I was well weighted.
Did you lose it all?
I lost one box of ammunition.
Mm-hmm. You obviously were a swimmer.
Yeah, I was the Sea Scouts and the Boy Scouts.
But you also had guns. You had your guns. Did you maintain
gas mask.
Okay.
Yeah, the blanket.
Okay. How did you get out of the water?
Kind of half swimming and half walking on the bottom.
And you're taking fire all this time.
Well, we didn't know it because we were down under the water. You hit bottom and then you kick your feet and go up and get some air.
Did anybody did you see anybody get wounded in front of you?
Of 11 people, 2 people got killed. Either drowned or were shot.
Okay. All right. Was there any protection for you at all out there, or you just
Skin.
Okay. When did you actually get? How did you actually get to the beach? How long did it take you? And what happened then?
Well, you tried to stay with your group for one thing. I was a machine gun crew, and you try to stay with them.
Right.
And you get down to the bottom and kick your feet and swim and try to move, try to get in ashore.
Was the water cold?
Yeah, very much cold.
In June, yeah. It had warm. The old Atlantic doesn't warm up much.
Well, that's the English Channel.
English Channel. Okay. All right. So, when you finally got on the beach, did you guys get back together? Did you all stay together?
We stuck together, yes.
Okay. Now the Germans had the high ground and the pillboxes and all that.
Up there,
And that,
shooting down, and bullets
what-
were ricocheting off the ground, off the water.
what did the beach look like?
Well, you had some dead people up there.
Okay. And that was the earlier waves, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And we went up about probably 30 yards and got behind a break it.
Okay, now what kind of fire were you taking? Small arms or mortar or all of the above?
All of the above.
They were throwing everything at you they had?
Oh, sure.
Right. Right.
But they were also throwing at our boat.
Anybody get killed on the boat?
Not that I saw, but of our 11 people, 4 did not make it to shore.
Okay. All right, where were you able to get cover on the beach, if at all?
Here, first thing you know, here comes a landing craft. Dropped their bow, and about 15 men came off that boat. Each of them carried a Bangler torpedo, one in each hand. Those guys had to be drunk or crazy, one or the other. And they came off and they started running up the beach.
Now this is off your boat?
No, this is the boat that came in after we were ashore.
Okay.
But their boat came up, dropped them right close to us, and out they came. They were engineers. Is what they were. And up ahead of us, they had mines, and they had what do you call it? Well, barbed wire, and all kinds of things like that. And the torpedo, the men up here with the Bangler torpedoes went up and blew those things out of the way, so we could go right up that slope.
Under fire the whole time?
Under fire all that time.
Right, now were you shooting up at the Germans?
Very seldom. We were trying to get clear and get off that beach.
Okay.
Oh, and all you got is sand out there. There's not much cover for anybody there.
Right. Okay. How long did it take you to get off the beach? Did you guys start going up right away?
Oh, probably 30 minutes.
Okay. Let me get back and get some time frame. Approximately what time did you leave the boat? Were you on there early in the morning or what?
Yeah.
Daylight.
It was daylight, yes.
Okay.
Let's give the Germans a nice target.
Pardon?
Gave the Germans a nice target.
I guess so.
And remember, I had never been in combat before.
Uh-huh.
Now, most of the people for the 1st Infantry Division, they'd been in North Africa, they'd been in Sicily, and they end up in England, and that's where I joined them.
Okay. All right. I want to go back and ask you one thing I forgot to ask you. When the night before, when you were on the ship, did you hear Ike's message?
I have full confidence.
You didn't hear any of that?
Devotion to duty
No.
and skill in battle.
Okay, because they made that out like it was a big deal.
Well, he may have talked to somebody, but he didn't talk to us.
You didn't hear any of it?
Almighty God,
Okay.
upon this great and noble
And inside the boat, you had about 6 places to sleep.
Oh, on the troop ship.
Yeah, on the troop ship.
Yeah.
This guy was about this far off my nose. The one on top of me.
Right. Not exactly great. Okay, now what about? It must have been extremely noisy out there.
It was. Shells were going off.
Constant.
Yeah.
Constant. Okay. All right. Tell me what happened when you started trying to get off the beach and go up the hill.
Well, number one, I went in that 8 feet of water for one thing.
Okay, but I know that, but once you got off the beach, once you got on the beach and started going up the hill into the,
Well, all of a sudden, that's where the engineers showed up with their big torpedoes. So they made a trail for us to go.
oh, okay. They blew you out a path, huh?
Yeah,
Okay.
like I said, they had to be crazy
Why is that?
because they came off that boat of theirs and they all started running up the beach up to the high spot where the mines and the barbed wire was located.
Okay. Okay. How long did it take you to get off that beach?
I can't tell you. I don't know.
Okay.
Just we had plenty of noise. We had plenty of excitement. We had people getting killed.
Right. Did you take any wounds on D-Day?
No,
Okay. Not a scratch?
not a scratch.
Okay. All right. When you got to the top, all right, what was that like?
Well, all the mines had been cleared. The barbed wire had been cleared, and we just rushed through there.
Okay.
And we got up behind the Germans, behind their
The pillboxes.
the pillboxes.
Okay. And then you went and cleaned them out.
Now that wasn't our job. Remember, we were heavy weapons.
Okay.
We had heavy machine guns and we had mortars.
So what did you do when you got to the top?
We kept running, getting away from any guns.
Okay. So you could set your guns up.
Yeah.
Okay. And where did you finally set
Remember,
up?
we were a support weapon.
Right.
Heavy machine guns.
And where did you finally set those guns up?
You're only talking about 70 years ago. You realize that, don't you?
I realize that. You're doing fine. You're doing fine. I gotta ask the questions though.
That's fine.
From General Eisenhower, Mr. President.
Ten seconds, Mr. President. And 5, 4.
My fellow Americans, in this poignant hour, I ask you to join me in prayer. Almighty God, our sons, pride of our nation, this day have set upon a mighty endeavor, a struggle to preserve our republic, our religion, and our civilization, and to set free a suffering humanity. They will need thy blessings. Their road will be long and hard, for the enemy is strong. Success may not come with rushing speed, but we shall return again and again. By the righteousness of our cause, our sons will triumph. We shall prevail over the unholy forces of our enemy. Help us to conquer the apostles of greed and racial arrogances. Lead us to the saving of our country, and with our sister nations, into a world unity that will spell a sure peace, and a peace that will let all of men live in freedom. Thy will be done, Almighty God. Amen.
Okay, you were off the beach the first day, though, right?
Yes.
Where'd you spend the first night?
Back in a swamp
In
France.
France.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was there? Did the fighting go into the night?
Yeah. But we got in there and dug ourselves some holes, and that's where we slept.
And that's where you set your machine guns up?
Yeah.
Okay.
As a defensive maneuver.
Now, were the Germans trying to attack you, or were they in a complete defensive mode?
Well, right. They were in a defensive mood then.
Yeah, trying to keep you out of there.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Now, what is your most vivid memory of D-Day?
Going down 8 feet of water was what I remembered.
Okay. That seems to be, that does seem to keep popping up here.
Yeah.
Okay. After you got on the beach, did any of your group get killed or get shot?
2 of them.
2 of them?
We lost 4 out of the 11.
Okay. All right, now, from D-Day, where? What did you do after? What did you do the next day? When did you start? You marched across Europe, right? You fought in France?
All the way to Czechoslovakia.
Okay. And that was from June 6, 1944 until 1st of May, somewhere in 1945, when it ended in Europe.
Yeah.
Right. Now, were you marching all of that time? Were you fighting all of that time?
Well, we rode Patton's tanks.
Okay.
And a few times they loaded us on some trucks and hauled us in faster. And we knew the Germans were taking off. They were trying to get out of France and get back into Germany.
You were trying to keep them from.
We were trying to make it as difficult as we could for them.
Okay, now, tell me about handling that machine gun. What were you shooting at? People coming at you? Were you shooting blindly?
Never blindly.
Never blind. You were shooting at people coming at you.
That's right.
Okay. You and was it a 2-man crew?
Yeah. The gunner and the man that
Okay.
put Dave in for.
Now, did you have a mortar man as well?
Well, not with my group.
Okay.
We were machine guns.
All right.
The mortar group came in a little bit later.
All right. So tell me about handling that machine gun.
Well, number one, I had to be promoted to that. Remember, I'm carrying machine gun ammunition in both hands.
So you were the carrier to begin
I'm the
with.
carrier, yeah.
Okay.
The idea is to keep ammunition by the machine gun. And we learned how to dig holes real fast.
And you learn how to shoot.
And you learn how to shoot.
Yeah. It took a little bit of time to set that thing up, right? I mean, that machine gun's pretty heavy, isn't it?
It's damned heavy, yes.
Did you carry the machine gun?
Nope, I carried ammunition.
All the time?
Most of the time, yes.
Okay. Plus your rifle.
Plus my carbine, yeah.
And your pistol. And your pack.
That damn pack, yeah.
Okay, during the period of time when you were on the continent, did you,
When I was on where?
when you were on the continent of Europe,
Okay.
did you have any place to sleep other than outside?
No. You dug a hole
Okay, every night,
every night.
every single night.
When you got people shooting artillery shells at you, then you have no choice but to get down in a hole.
Right. And you were there through the winter, so it was cold.
Eventually, yes.
It got cold.
Yes.
It got cold. All right. Now, were you impacted any by what they called the Battle of the Bulge? Were you?
That was later on.
Okay.
Much later on.
Did you get caught up in that? Yep. You did.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, tell me a little bit about that. What you remember? That was
Well,
that was in December.
We captured about 380,000 German soldiers.
As a result of the Battle of the Bulge.
Yes. No. There we go. Oh, that doesn't show that, does it?
What is it?
I was hoping this showed the battle.
Battle of the Bulge.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that was later on. That was during the winter time.
Right.
At this time, it was still, it was just cold. And we started moving forward. The English, the French, us, and pushed the Germans this way. And they were all headed for Germany.
Okay. Now let me get this straight. You fought in France.
Yes.
You fought in Germany.
Belgium.
You fought in Belgium. And then where? Czechoslovakia.
Yeah.
Austria.
No, not
You
Austria.
didn't get to Austria.
No.
Okay. Wow. That. And you survived.
Yes, sir.
As evidence, but the fact that I'm sitting here looking at you. You won 3 Purple Hearts. That means you got 3 wounds, right?
Yeah. Got one in the back of my head.
Well, wait a minute. Let's start with the first one. Where'd you get wounded first time?
Outside of Hurtgen Forest.
You were in the Battle of Hurtgen Forest?
Yes. If it's a battle, I was in it.
That was an awful one, right?
Because they'd shoot rounds at us. They'd shoot and it would hit in the trees, and then it would spray pieces of metal right down on top of you.
Wow.
Somehow, somewhere there, I got in both arms. I got shrapnel wounds.
That was the first time.
That's the first time.
All right. And how long did it take you to recover from that?
Well, just we all of us carried little medicine cap things on our belt,
So you patched it up yourself?
so you patch it up.
Okay, but did you pull the shrapnel out or what?
Yeah, what I could find, I got.
Do you still have some in there?
No, I got it all. I got it all out.
Okay. But you got a Purple Heart for that.
Yeah.
Okay. But that fight lasted what, 30 days in that forest?
Yeah, didn't last too long.
But I've read something somewhere that is that the one that said that's one of the battles that probably shouldn't have been fought?
That's probably true.
Okay. Because they could have just gone around them and.
Except there wasn't any roads.
Right.
There were paths, but no roads.
Right. I know what I also wanted to ask you. Back after D-Day and when the breakout finally came. Now, did you fight in those hedgerows?
Yeah. In France.
Right.
Yeah.
And it took what, several weeks to break out of that?
Yeah.
And you were in that fight as well.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay, where did you get your second one?
About 3 months later, I was out on this field. A shell went off right just above us, and I got it in the middle of the back.
All right, now that sounds like that was may have been more severe, right?
Yeah. Well,
You
they sent me back to the hospital for that.
You took shrapnel?
Yeah.
They dig that out?
Uh-huh.
Okay, you're not carrying any shrapnel with you today?
No, I didn't know. Not anymore.
All right, now you were hospitalized for that?
Yeah.
And they didn't send you home?
No, they never did send us home.
Okay. All right, how long did it take you to recover?
Oh, probably about 10 days.
Okay. And you went back to your group?
Oh, yeah. The general over our outfit says I want every 1st Division soldier returned to me.
Okay. Third one.
Third one. Well, that's about 6 weeks before the war was over with. I'm on top of this mountain, or hill, they call it a hill. And they started shooting artillery shells at us. And one of them went right out there, went off, and went right through my helmet and into my skull, into my brain.
Now that sounds like that's pretty severe.
Well, I woke up in the hospital.
Okay.
I mean, when it hit me, I was gone.
Did they do brain surgery? Or did it dig something out or what?
They dug something out.
Okay.
But I found out since that I still have water up here in the back of my head.
All right. Okay. How long did that one take you to get over?
Again, about 10 days.
And again, you went back to your any repercussions from that one? Headaches or anything like that?
No. I'll tell you what, when I got up to see the captain, I said, "You and the Germans are trying to kill me."
And he said,
"Would you like to have another job?" And I said, "Yes." So that's when I got the job as a mortar observer.
mortar. Okay, so you were spotting for the mortar guy?
Yeah.
Okay.
I like that much better. I was my own boss. I didn't have to go on patrols anymore.
Right. Okay. And by what time of year? Was this close to the end of the war?
No. The brain thing was close to the end of the war.
The what?
Thing in my head was pretty close to the end of the war.
Okay. All right. And all right. All right. Now you got the Bronze Star.
Yeah.
Okay. Now what did you get that for?
We were about to be overrun by a German assault platoon. And so I didn't figure I had much choice. So I called mortar fire in on the building that I was in. Ended up blowing the roof off.
And you took no wound from that? Did anybody?
Somehow or other I escaped that one.
Okay. All right.
But
how did that? And that what did that break the attack or what?
yes, it did.
Okay. All right.
And
All
when they
right.
got up there and they saw the building that I was in, they decided, "How's how'd you survive?"
Okay. All right. Where did you end up at the end of the war?
Just on the outskirts of Germany, in a small German town. We took over a school building, the whole company. We moved into there.
Okay.
But then they started counting up how many points we had, and I had enough points to go home.
So did you come home before the end of the war or after?
Oh, well, we were in this small German town, and they called me in and counted up all my points. They said, "Would you like to go home?" And I said, "Yes." Well, we'll send you to the 5th Corps. That's just where is it? This thing is 5th Corps. That's the thing that they wore on their shirts. Of course, I had the 1st Infantry Division, and this is the one down in Mississippi. That's what we wore on our uniform there.
Okay. What's this? The little gold bar.
That's a Congressional Medal of Honor.
The what?
Congressional Medal of Honor. Not to me, it's to the whole group.
Okay, the big red one.
Yeah.
Okay. And everybody in the big red one got that?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Well, congratulations. That was quite a group to be in, wasn't it?
Yeah, quite a group.
They got a long history. All right. Now when did you finally get to come home?
Well, when I got to 5th Corps, they were packing up their goods and ready to get on trucks and head for Lahore.
That's
To come back to the United States.
okay. You got a ship there?
There was a ship waiting for us.
Troop ship. How long did it take you to get back?
About 5 days. It wasn't long.
did you finally get out of the service?
No, about November the 18th, went in there.
1945?
Yeah.
1945.
That's when the war was over.
Right. So you were in for 3 years, right? 2 years.
Excitable for 2 years.
You went in when you were 18 years old.
Yeah.
And by the time you were 20 years old, you'd fought in how many battles?
5.
Marched all the way across Europe.
Yeah.
Wounded 3 times. Bronze Star for bravery. Quite a story.
Well, let me tell you some more stories.
Okay.
The first large German city was Aachen, Germany. Well, we conquered it. We forced all the German soldiers and civilians out of there. And we found a brewery. A brewery, you know? Yeah.
Y'all didn't drink any beer, did you?
Oh, not a drop. So we moved in there, and we drank more. In 3 days, we drank more beer than you ever realize. But about that time, a chaplain showed up with 3 helpers. And he's a captain. And he says, I don't want anybody drinking this beer again. It's been poisoned. Hell, we've been drinking it for 3 days. But he says it's been poisoned. So what happens, he sends his boys in to turn the valves on. First thing you know, we had foam as high as this table. All the beer's going down the drain. So that we weren't happy with that chaplain at all. Except after he'd gone, somebody in searching around the brewery found about 50 wooden barrels Guess what they were full of?
Beer.
Beer.
Good German beer,
But,
too.
man, we spread the word, and man, the trucks showed up, the pickup showed up, the Jeep showed up, everybody showed up to get their share of the beer.
So you had a big party.
So we had a big party. I mean, we
And that was in Germany, went about halfway.
wasn't very long into Germany,
Okay.
almost on the border.
All right. So before you took the big march.
Uh-huh.
Okay. All right.
Now, another time, about halfway to Germany, there's a road like this, and the Germans came in here, and they were headed for Germany. And our aircraft found it. Spotted them down there, just packed in, and they went after it with machine guns and bombs. And when we got there, man, there were dead people all over the place. Dead horses, dead humans.
And where was this?
Just before you left France.
Okay.
Everything was fine. But when we got there, they had tanks that were destroyed, trucks that were destroyed, wagons that were destroyed. And off to one side was a snout-nosed, that's my word for it, truck, like a school bus. And we got in there, and that thing was full of French money. And we figured, man, we got it made, huh? So everybody loaded up with French money. We got back with our group and started taking off. But it was apparently it was a payroll for the German army in that truck.
So everybody was happy.
Oh, we're happy, yeah. We figured, man, if we don't leave France, we've got it made with all this money.
Well, could you cash it in? Could you?
Oh no, you'd have to deal with French people.
Okay. You couldn't take it to a bank and.
The bank was long closed.
Yeah. Okay.
But let me change the subject a moment. My mother and father lived in Evansville, Indiana. In Evansville, when they received Western telegraph, the mailman would deliver that. So first thing you know, he delivered the first telegram. What you get was wounded and disappeared. He's disappeared. Then 10 days later, she gets a copy of another telegram that says I was wounded. You remember, she'd already lost one son,
Right.
her number one baby. Well, a couple of months later, here we come again. He's missing in action. He's been wounded. And then on the third one, same deal. Only this time she got a letter from me where I told her that I was in the hospital. So it wasn't as bad. And how would you like to be her?
Yeah, I know.
Getting telegrams like that.
Right. She deal with it?
Well, she almost had nervous breakdown.
Yeah. But you got home to see her, right?
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah. Glad to see you when you got home?
Yeah.
I guess so. Only child, sole surviving son, right?
Yeah. So what happened? They sent us all the way to Indianapolis, Indiana. The big camp there. That's where they were sent us to our various locations. And I sat out there in that big field while about 1,500 GIs had their names called. They didn't call my name. They didn't call about 14 other guys. So after it's all over, we went up and complained. Says, when do we get out of here? And they said, well, just hold on. We'll see if we can find your paperwork. Well, after that afternoon, they finally showed they'd found our paperwork. They passed about, and man, we got on the buses and went home.
There you go. So that was when?
That's after the war was over with.
That's after the war was over.
And,
I got to ask you something.
Sure.
Now you were a machine gunner, okay? That takes out a lot of people quickly.
yeah.
How do you feel about that? I mean,
No feeling at all.
Okay. They're trying to kill you,
They're going to kill me if I didn't kill them.
right? But you manned that machine gun, what, 4 or 5 months?
Yeah.
4 or 5 months. And were you in combat daily? Did you have were there any breaks where there were a few days that it was?
Yes, sure.
What'd you do after the war?
I went to Evansville College in Evansville, Indiana.
Okay. GI Bill?
GI Bill. Went there for 1 year. And Dad got transferred back to Houston, Texas. So I packed up my gear and we all came together. Came down to Houston. And there I went to University of Houston.
Graduated?
Graduated.
What'd you get a degree in?
Foreign trade.
Okay. And what'd you do for a living after that?
I sold insurance. I sold real estate. I was an insurance broker. I transferred over to the Parks and Recreation Department.
City of Houston?
City of Houston. I got a pension off of that. And I liked that. That was nice. And it paid more money than what I've been making.
When you look back on that 2 years today, what are your thoughts?
Thank God I've lived through it.
Would you want to repeat it?
No way. No way. I couldn't have lived through that again.
Are you glad you had the experience though?
Well, I had no choice.
Right.
Where they sent me is where I went.
And did what they told you to do.
Right. Oh, you see this?
Infantry? Is that what is it?
Combat infantry badge. See up here?
Uh-huh. Combat what?
Infantry badge.
Okay.
Now, when we were in Pilsen, Czechoslovakia, the captain ordered 5 of us to come into his office, and we were the 5 that had survived the landing at D-Day. He gave each one of us one of these belt buckles.
Okay, that was in your unit.
Yes.
Okay, now I know you were in the 18th.
18th Infantry.
18th Infantry, and what squad or any of that stuff?
Company M was our principal company.
Okay. And all but for your 21st birthday.
Yeah. Thank God I didn't have a wife, didn't have any children.
Okay. When did you get married?
About 2 years after that.
Yeah. Houston girl?
No, I got a girl from out in the country.
Okay. All right.
She
Kids?
lived up in Madisonville, Texas.
Pardon?
She lived up in Madisonville, Texas.
Okay.
And she had just graduated from nurses training here in Houston.
Okay. And you've lived here the rest of your life up to this point. Okay. Now, and I know you got one daughter. Got 2 daughters.
Okay.
Okay.
One in Katy, one in Heights downtown.
Okay.
I did have a son, but he died.
Okay. All right. And anything else you want to tell me? We covered it pretty good.
Now,
I did know one. Did you? You must have made a lot of good buddies along the way. Did you keep up with them after the war?
no. Remember, I was transferred
Okay.
out
All right.
of 1st Infantry Division over to the 5th Corps.
Okay.
So they were back there and I'm up here.
All right. Did any of them? Well, when the war was over, it was over. Were any of those guys targeted to go to Japan?
Not that I ever heard.
Okay. Because a lot of guys at that point,
Didn't have enough points.
yeah, didn't have enough points, and they were gearing up for the big invasion of Japan.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's quite a story, Joe.
All right, let me tell you a couple of little. I told you about the liquor, the beer.
Right.
Well, after this big battle where I said we captured about 380,000 German soldiers. Well, another guy and I got hold of a couple of pistols, a couple of horses. So with saddles on. So he rode and I rode. We rode around the town. Well,
This was in Germany.
This is in Germany, and we went by this bar, and it had about 8 or 10 British soldiers in there. They got up and yelled at us, "You want some champagne?" Well, hell, I wasn't going to turn champagne down. So we tied up the horses, went inside, got our canteen cups out, and the English soldiers filled them up. We emptied them. Filled them up, we emptied them.
And you gonna be too drunk to get on the horse or what?
So what happens? We find it's out, maybe we've drank enough. So we went out, half crawled up on our horse. You ever shake up a Coca-Cola?
Mm-hmm.
Can you believe what happens with champagne when you shake it up?
Inside your body?
Inside my body. Uh-huh.
I got a funny feeling you probably threw up.
Oh, we got back at this time we were staying in a house. So I kind of half flowed off that horse and flowed up the stairs and went to bed. And I must have thrown up. Because this woman that had the house, she got all my clothes off and washed them and cleaned them, ironed them, and gave them back to me. So I must have thrown up, yes.
All right. Let's see what else I was going to ask. See if I missed anything. I don't think I did, at least on my list. Oh, I was going to ask you.
Go ahead.
One other thing I was going to ask you. Everybody, did you see the movie Saving Private Ryan?
Yeah.
Did that come anywhere close to what you experienced? Maybe in those first scenes, particularly on the beach.
All I know is we were lower down to the sand than they were. They did a lot of walking around. We stayed as low as we could get.
But was it any accurate in any way?
Well, we had a lot of people that were damaged by artillery fire or rifle fire. So we didn't stay long. We lost a lot of men. To give you the idea, the 1st Infantry Division lost 2,012%.
On D-Day?
Period. At the time when this was in Czechoslovakia, by then they lost that many people.
Wow.
So we lost a lot of people. We had a lot of people coming in, replacing those that were killed or wounded.
Yeah. Another question. Okay.
Okay.
Today, these guys coming back from combat in Afghanistan and Iraq, there's a lot of.
Bring them home. That's all I can say. Bring them home. Don't leave them over there to all get killed.
I agree with you. It's not worth one more American life.
No, it's not.
But did you have any of the, what they call today, post-traumatic stress? The flashbacks?
My wife says I did.
Okay.
A lot of nightmares.
You're the first one that's ever World War II veteran that I've talked to. I've asked that question that has admitted that. And I've talked to several of their wives, and the wives say the same thing, that yes, they felt that they did.
Yeah.
But you've had nightmares, flashbacks.
Yeah.
Okay. But you've dealt with it.
I survived it.
You survived it.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you still experience it today? It's been 70 years.
No.
Okay. Are those days on your mind much?
No. That's a long time ago.
Long time ago. Long past. Okay. Well, look, I think we got a good story here. I'm going to shut the tape down. And I want to thank you again on behalf of the museum, for sharing your story. It's been a great.
I don't think I've told you much.
You've told me more than most guys.
Oh, really?
So thanks very much.